Do you want to start? Do I want to start?
Well, I'm not going to do like any sort of intro for this. Like, we're just going to go into it pretty much.
We're just gonna go into it. Okay. School stories, huh? You were also class rep, weren't you?
In college, I was, yes.
College, what grade was that? What
College, that
what
would be
grade?
like years 12. No, not year. Yeah, year 12 and 13 here, that would count as. So, yeah. It's weird. College
Oh,
here
okay.
works so weird compared to the rest of the world.
I mean, we also have a weird school system here in Germany. Like I told you about, like after elementary school, you could get into three types of schools, and it depends on your grades in elementary.
What do you mean?
Let's say like in elementary school, you also get grades there, and if your grades were good, you go to a school called Gymnasium, or like Gymnasium in German. And if yours are like average, then you go to Realschule and stuff like that. It's based on your grades in elementary school. Though if your grades were good in like the other schools, you can still upgrade to gymnasium, but you can also downgrade if you fail too many classes, which is
Really, huh?
not necessarily a good school system because you're basically categorized by it. Like if you're in the Hauptschule, people will think that you're dumb because your
Yeah.
grades overall are pretty bad.
Yeah. I'm okay because like I'm glad that the UK doesn't have that kind of grade system because America has that system where if you do like badly on let's say three exams or something, then you get held back and stuff. And I don't think that's really a good way to put it because if anything, that discourages the student even more because you're putting them back a whole year almost of like effort and like progress. So you're kind of I don't know, you're just limiting them in that sort of way.
Exactly. There is also like discrimination when you're not in advanced classes because that's the system the Americans have, like advanced and regular classes, I think. And I hear that a lot of regular students get a lot of shade thrown at them because they're apparently not good enough. But I really don't think that's a very effective way to help students get better at all. It does the opposite, I'd say.
I remember like there was this one time in I think it was when I was in year 10 or something. Yeah, year 10, so when I was like 15. Our art teacher, there was like a day where exams were going on because the year 11s and stuff were doing their GCSEs. And he took us to this room like on the second floor of the school. And because it's not like an art room, it was like a maths room, we didn't really have any of our equipment up there, so we couldn't do any work. So for that entire 2 hours, we had art because we had double art on certain days, I think. He put us in there and we watched anime with the teacher for that entire 2 hours. Because there was like,
What?
yeah, we watched Bleach and like One Piece clips.
Bleach?
Yeah, we watched like
One Piece?
yeah, literally, like, because there were people in my class who were like obsessed with anime and stuff, so they would just put it on, and it was the most amazing thing. Because even the teacher was like, "Oh, I really like the mask of like I think Byakuya or whatever." No, I think I just like
What?
slandered every anime fan by saying that. I think it was Ichigo's mask and stuff because I think it was the fight with him and Byakuya, like one of the first like early big fights, and it was
Oh,
good because they showed us that or one of the kids like he showed us that moment and even I got into like Bleach at that point with that. I watched like 30 episodes after that because I was like, this is so cool. Like the whole power up thing, the whole like old art style, it just looked really nice and reminded me a lot of like Naruto and stuff.
oh wow, you guys watched anime in school. That's so awesome. Apparently, like one class in like I think like high school, which is like college for you anyway. I told you about us being divided into either religion classes for Christians or like ethic classes for non-Christians. And so apparently the class for religion, they watched 5 centimeters per second, which is also like an anime movie.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
I don't even know why they watched it. They probably had like free time by the end of the year, so that's why they watched it. But I'm so surprised that the teacher was fine with it.
Oh, that's pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Right? I didn't have that. I was in an ethics class. Yeah, we were talking about philosophers instead of doing fun stuff, I'd say. I hope my teacher doesn't find this video.
I've always been afraid of that too. I was always afraid that like if I ever did this and one of my teachers saw this is why I'm not naming any names. It's because I live near my school as well. So if they find out, I'm gonna like have like my doorbell ring, open it, and they're gonna hit me over the head with a shovel.
Oh no! Oh my gosh. I was actually going to start with the class rep thing because, like, I asked you because I was going to start with it. So I was class rep in 10th grade. I think I told you about that one before.
Damn.
And, you know, like, class reps, they have some sort of sense of responsibility. They have a lot to do, like technically, but I didn't have that much to do. I had to organize some stuff for like school along with other class reps from other like classes. But sometimes we would just organize stuff for ourselves. So in 10th grade, we decided to organize a grill party because after 10th grade, some people would leave school to pursue some other career path, I'd say, like not going for uni, because in 11th and 12th grade you basically do something like uni preparation, I'd say. And so we did a grill party somewhere in some field that I don't know of, but one of my classmates said they know the place, so we just went there. And I may have had like a sense of responsibility and duty and that kind of stuff, like what a class rep has to be, but I had no sense of orientation. I rely heavily on the GPS. And I had to lead people home. I had to lead people to a nearby station. Like I had to like show them the direction home. I didn't know how, so I just showed them the direction where I thought where we came from. But it took them like an hour to find a station. And when I went home with a friend, they led me somewhere else, and it took like 15 minutes.
Probably like worried sick parents putting up wanted posters for their missing children because you pointed them towards a different country practically. Like, oh no, this is the way to your home, this is the way to France. My class rep story is like, I think it's a lot more lame compared to yours, because I got elected for class rep in my second year of college, and to sum it up, I did jack shit. Like, I did pretty much nothing. Like, I had no responsibilities or anything like that. The only thing I got to do was go to, like, little meetings and stuff in other campuses. But also, I was also ambassador for my unit. So I was meeting up with other students who were doing a course similar to mine, but from different colleges. And that meeting only ever happened once, I think. And it was for an event that happened in like early 2019, where it was like this student event where you would go towards other universities that were like putting up stalls there and see what they were about. It was like an advertisement event almost. And it was weird because I got to skip an entire day of college for that. That was one thing. So I was happy about that. But the other thing was they made me wear like a t-shirt, like a bright yellow t-shirt. And one thing with me is that I do not like bright yellow t-shirts whatsoever. They make you stand out like a sore thumb so badly that you look like you're a bumblebee.
To be fair, you're gonna like attract moths or something, like some form of insect, because they really like bright colors.
Yes. Yeah, that is
like, oh, is
I
this the
think I was
sun?
dodging
Is this
people
the sun?
instead.
Is so bright.
Oh, come on.
My best subjects in school, like high school and college, were French and English, which is also why they are my majors. And I think it was in 8th or 9th grade when the French teacher was basically done with the whole class, because a lot of people don't do their homework in French class.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also the case in other countries or other schools.
Agreed.
Yeah, they don't do their homework. And she was like, okay, can you guys even say like this a certain verb form with like, I think the verb was apprendre, and she wanted to know the passé composé form of it. And everyone had their hands raised because it was a very basic word, and basically everyone knew the word. But for some reason, my brain was basically frozen at that moment. I also had my hand raised, but I gave her the wrong answer. And I was the top student in that class in French. I have never seen anyone more disappointed in me in my life than her. She went silent. She was just quiet. Everyone else was also quiet, and she just sighed, looked at me, and I was like, I want to die. I just said the wrong form.
She was like, oh, class, oh, maybe we'll look at this stupid child. It's ironic though, because like, speaking of French, I was talking to like a few friends about this the other day, and because I did history as my as one of my chosen subjects in my GCSEs, and we got to go to France. I've told you about that before, right?
I think you did, yeah.
I'll make a whole video about it someday.
Sure.
So we went to France, and it wasn't just the history students who went, even though we had most reason to go because we were going to actually like visit the graves of World War One soldiers and World War Two soldiers as well. And for some reason, and I don't mind this because they were my friends and stuff, but people from geography as well as French came along. Now, French makes sense because that's literally where we're going. But I don't get why the geography students came along with us, because what were they going to do? Just examine a rock in France and be like, oh, yeah, this is a different rock to what we have back in England. Like, what?
Oh no.
Like, what? Why did they come along? Oh, dude. Okay, so here's a story from that trip that I can tell now, because this technically does count as a school story because it happened with the school. So,
of course.
We were, and I'll say the story again like in the future when I do the actual video on France and Belgium, but just to sum it up, we were like in Belgium, I think, this day, and it was the third day, so we might have been in Belgium, yeah. And our history teacher, he was sat with all the other teachers in this field. And because, you know, all teachers like to hang out pretty much, like when they're together on trips, because they're weird like that. And we could, bright as day, see his ass crack just shine in the sunlight. Like, you could angle it to the point where you could probably, like, mistake it for, like, a wide-ass milk bottle. And it was, like, the worst image in my head because he was wearing no underwear whatsoever. We would just, like, angle around, see it, and then walk away. It was literally like trying to get past a guard dog that wasn't even there.
Wait, how do you even see it? Where was this exactly? In the room? Outside?
It was out. It was out on a field. He was just laying in a field and his ass was showing almost, like, not even almost, like, it wasn't even down a bit. It was like down halfway, so you could make out a cheek pretty much.
How do people have the nerve, or like the courage to even do that? Imagine you're like, oh yeah, I want to just strip down so everyone can see my butt.
I don't know. Like, dude, it's weird because when we realized like what was happening, we just like got into this state where we all went quiet for a bit and walked away just silently, and we were like, okay, so we're not going to discuss this now. We're going to discuss this later in the hotel room where no one can hear us. So yeah, we'll talk more about this in the future, but for now I think I'll end it there, and we'll just make a part 2, I don't know, like other stuff from school in the future. Because I definitely want to like talk to you about like kind of subjects and stuff that you liked and didn't like, because I feel like you would have a lot to say on the stuff that you didn't like.
Oh yeah.
Alright, in that case I'll end the video there.